Hello and welcome to the Parent Survival Kit podcast. From surviving to thriving in your household, my name is Gene Schwalen, and next to me, as always, is my beautiful bride, Dr. Sonia Schwalen, pediatric expert psychologist and nationally certified school psychologist. And today we actually have a very special guest, times two. We have Coit Kiefer. He is part of the Next Steps family, and he's going to be here sharing some special information for us all regarding equine therapy. And with Coit, he also has his very special friend. And hey, Coit, why don't you introduce who you have with you there?
Well, my very official sprint. How is he? It's my dog, Hay. He's okay. And he's just keeping everybody company.
All right. Well, we appreciate you being here on set with us today.
Thank you for having me.
So we're excited. So we want to learn about equine therapy, and for those who don't know what that is, it's utilizing horses, and it's to really, I guess, drive therapy. So, as a parent, I'm really interested to find out more about it, and so I'm going to ask some probably really dumb questions, and you can laugh at me if you want to. We'll let Dr. Schwalen kind of chime in sometimes too. So tell me, what is equine therapy?
Equine therapy is just a different modality, a different way to, instead of getting, let's just get out of the office.
All right.
Right. A lot of people are not comfortable. There's not a lot of therapeutic value in sitting in somebody's office or in front of their desk or whatever. And this is getting outside, and this is being around animals. This is utilizing the nature of just being outdoors and exploring a different avenue of therapy outside of, hey, what did you do last week?
So with equine therapy, some things that I just kind of researched a little bit is, and just some things I've known. In fact, Dr. Schwalen has been wanting forever to take the Next Steps team and all the therapist providers and whatnot to do some equine training and just kind of like
team building.
Team building. There you go. So equine therapy, it can be used for companies, teams, team building. It can be used for couples. So Dr. Schwalen and I could, as a married couple, could use equine therapy just for ourselves. And then kids can definitely benefit from that. Is that correct? Is that accurate?
Absolutely. There is no demographic that it cannot adapt to.
So what is it with horses that really just creates the environment to just have such a major impact with any demographic, any population? What is it about the horses and really just the I guess the presence of being there?
I think you just said it. The presence.
Okay.
The horses are themselves. They react to people depending on what's going on emotionally.
Okay.
And reading their body language helps understand what exactly is going on. What is it about horses? Well, they're prey animals to begin with, if you want to really go back, right? If something's wrong, they run away, right? Pretty simple. They're pack animals, right? They like to be together. So you put horses together and in an environment that they're not unable to run away, but they're still in an arena.
Okay.
They have an opportunity to show you how the people are, what's going on around them.
Okay.
Right. Whether it's a couple or it's a child or it's a group, a team, regardless, they will show you that energy that is going on, and they will react in a certain way. And it just gives the therapist an opportunity to just watch.
Okay. So this could be great for families also, I'm assuming, as well. Parents and kids alike. So you mentioned arena. So I'm trying to get a visual because I've never seen it. I've never been to a place. You mentioned arena. If I were to walk in with my son what would I expect? What would I see? Like, what does that arena look like? And what, how does that just manifest?
It depends on the facility.
Okay.
It's just as diverse as the experience itself.
So an arena, it's not like a big, huge arena, like a circus type of thing, but is it like a stable? Is it where someone may do some, barrel jumping, that type of arena? Like, kind of give me an idea.
Possibly. All right. So to give you an idea is I can't. It's that diverse.
Okay.
It is as diverse as the facility that's there. And that's part of the experience.
But it will be some type of enclosure, I guess, with horses,
yes.
mini horses.
Using the Agala model,
okay.
Which I'm certified to do, it is enclosed, but the surface area can range from a football field to the size of your office, to be honest with you.
Okay.
It really is that diverse, and it just depends on the facility.
Okay.
The same type of work happens regardless, and that's part of the experience.
Okay. So we're in this arena, whether it's an office or a bigger complex, and I guess to kind of get some other ideas. So you're an LCDC, you're also an LPC, you're a licensed Agala therapist as well. What is a certified Agala therapist? What does that mean in itself?
Okay, so I was originally certified as an equine specialist, and you work in tandem with a mental health specialist. An equine specialist, you need to have, I believe it's 6,000 hours specifically working with horses in a herd atmosphere.
Okay.
Right. So you've really, and it's vetted. They need to know that you know what you're doing around horses. I'm also a licensed farrier, putting shoes on horses as a blacksmith. So that's one portion of it. And the equine therapist is the mental health specialist works in tandem with the equine specialist. So I play both roles now that I've gotten into the mental health field. But you work in tandem, you work in a pair to try to read the horses and what they're doing with the clients.
Okay. So if I were to show it with my son, we would have an equine specialist and a mental health provider therapist. And I'm just guessing. So the equine specialist would really kind of more focus on the horses, just watching them. And the mental health specialist would really kind of more focused on the actual client themselves and kind of observe.
I think that's a great way to look at it.
Okay.
Number one, it's about safety, right? So the equine specialist is going to be monitoring the horses first and foremost to make sure that everybody is safe, including the horses, right? They're going to read body language. They're going to observe patterns with the horses. They're going to observe shifts in the horse's behavior. Things of that nature that have to do specifically with the horses. The mental health professional is maybe more focused on how's the communication going with the family right now, and what are we observing exactly, and how can we represent the horses and the metaphors that they may represent, and putting all that together. So again, it's a team,
okay.
Truly, to the root, which is what I love about, next steps, right? It's a team. And equine therapy is all about teamwork. I mean, the horses, the equine specialists, the mental health specialists are a team.
Okay.
And they're all considered equals.
Okay. That's very fascinating. So, I think we all get I think when we look at horses, we all see just beauty, and they're so strong and
majestic.
Majestic, yes, absolutely. I mean, the big thing out for this is for parents, right? So for our parents, especially for our daughters out there. I mean, the biggest thing out there for the last couple of years that's still going on, our 8-year-old is still heads over heels over unicorns, right? And it's a horse with a horn. But I'm saying that, so just kind of walk me through, like, what is the difference with therapy, you know, at a facility in an arena with all these horses? Because I know if I walk in there, even just myself as an adult, I'm like, whoa, this is really cool. I may also be a little bit scared with a lot of horses around too. You know, I've done some horseback riding and whatnot, but these are strong animals, and you know, there's movies and them jumping up and kicking somebody and all those things. And I can imagine my son being in awe, but also being scared. So what does that look like from a therapeutic standpoint? You know, getting past the awe and then really digging into therapy, whatever that looks like. How does that actually work?
Exactly how you just explained it, right? Getting over the awe, or getting through the awe, or accepting the awe.
Okay.
All right. So if we want to look at the awe, quote unquote, the majestic animal is very present. There's no getting around it.
Okay.
There's no diversion of what is going on. So if I was to ask a family, you know, does anything out in the arena kind of resemble some of the problems that you're seeing in the house? Done, right? And just observe the awe, the horses, interaction.
I was gonna say my wife leaves crap all over the place, but I'm just kidding, love.
No, but exactly. You know, that's a really good point, because guess what happens normally in the arena?
There's crap everywhere.
They leave crap. And that's a great metaphor, right?
Yeah, I mean, it hits home, right?
No. And it actually, that's very, that is exactly what happens. Like almost. All right, yo, you want to work this out?
Yeah, seriously.
All right, where the hell's the dog?
We need therapy right now.
So when we're in the arena,
but you're right. The crap itself is metaphoric for a lot of stuff.
Okay.
And we laugh about it, but in a therapeutic setting, it means a lot. Sometimes.
Yeah.
Like quite literally.
Yes.
And it happens right in front of the clients. All right, go ahead.
I think we should go do an equine session.
We definitely need
I'm
man.
really excited about this.
Get
now.
this crap out of our life.
You know what? Y'all need an equine therapy session.
Yes, we do. I want one.
Well, the good thing is we know someone who can
Okay,
help us.
so what would be an example of something that I would do as the equine therapist for a couple?
Yeah, well, see, here's so I want you to give us an example. So, like, but I want to picture it too. Like, are we walking and talking? Like, you're asking us questions, we're talking, and these horses are just walking around with us, and they're just present. I mean, we may not be walking the whole time, but are we like, you know, I'm trying to visualize really, like, are we standing, and is there talk therapy going on at all?
I think can I try just to see if we're understanding?
Are you going to try to explain the crap? Go ahead.
No, well, your crap right now.
You're going to try to give me a visual?
The answer for every single kind of question like this when it comes to therapy and psychology and just working with people is it depends, right? And I think that's what he's going to say. So he's going to be like, I can't give you a visual.
Well, I understand, but I mean, I know that with therapy, traditional talk therapy, we go and we sit in an office and we sit down and, you know, we talk about our crap instead of smelling it and seeing it. But again, just really understanding, like, you know, I know we're not going to sit down on some couches and whatnot, but, you know, are we like walking? Is there questions? Are we talking? I mean, like, I really am intrigued to figure out kind of how it works.
It's an organic process that would go from session to session. So what you could expect if you and your son came in for an original session would be, what are you all here to talk about? What are you all here to work on?
Okay.
Same thing we would do in the office.
Okay.
Now, the atmosphere is, and I know an arena for the layperson doesn't make much sense. So it's just an enclosed area with horses inside of it. It could be one horse. It could be 5.
Okay.
It could be 10.
So
It doesn't make any difference, right?
Yeah.
Like the metaphoric process of the equine therapy just plays itself out. So you can expect to go in to an equine therapy session with me. What are y'all here to talk about? What's going on? Same thing we would do in the office.
But now we have
Exact
these
same
majestic animals around us, something that's like kind of like bigger than we are in a sense, in a way, right?
Sure,
You know,
And how can these things represent what's going on in your life?
okay.
If it's an individual session, if it's a couples counseling session, if it's a family, doesn't matter, team building.
What about parent training? Do you ever do that in the arena?
Okay, so parent training would be a lot about communication. So what's an exercise we could do with equine therapy with parent training? For instance, having a couple come into the arena and just asking them, first, what do y'all want to work on? What's going on around the house? What are the issues, right? Okay, kids aren't getting up on time. Our schedule's off. What have you? I'm working too much. It doesn't make any difference. Okay, so I just want to ask y'all to turn around and take a look at what's going on around us right now. And do you see anything that may possibly represent what's going on in your lives? Right? And that's okay, right? So just observe. After 5, 10, 15 minutes, whatever, it's very organic. Why don't you go ahead and interact with the horses? Or interact with anything else that's in the arena? Or just walk around the arena and just get a different perspective on what's going on. And if people come up with a different narrative to what's going on, come back to process. Well, did you notice how this horse continued to nag on the other horse, right?
There you go.
Or
Okay.
kick at this other horse, or this other one just didn't want to have anything to do with us? Well, that reminds me of X, Y, and Z.
Gotcha. Now it's
a
clicking.
metaphoric process. How can we relate this to what's going on in our lives?
Okay.
And then it gives you a visual of, man, maybe that is what's going on.
Yeah.
And it's just a different way of looking at it. At the same time, working with somebody that suffered with PTSD, right? Veterans. The symptoms, they are. Like, I don't like to go out into public places. They don't like offices. They do really well in settings like equine therapy. So what would a session like that look like? Okay. I don't like to go out in public. I don't like to, be around other people. Okay. Do you see anything in the arena that may look anything like that to you? Maybe not that session. Maybe it's just observing the horses.
Yeah.
And that's fine. Like, that's being present. Like, that's mindfulness, and that's therapeutic in itself.
I can kind of like see also like at times to where you can just feel like some like serenity, some peacefulness, some like taking a deep breath, like, overlooking like some great ocean or body of water at a sunset, like just having something that's peaceful to where maybe you can really just collect your thoughts too, in a sense, observing.
Yeah. Well, mindfulness.
Yeah.
That's the definition. And the horses represent that. The same with most animals, if not all, right? For a second, when your dog wags his tail, you're present. You just are. Whether you're having a crappy day or not, right? All of a sudden, you're present, all right?
Yep.
Hey, what's up, man?
Yep. Your dog comes and nugs on your leg and
That's
whatnot.
it, right?
Yep.
You're present. All right. So, yes. So there's a lot of different variables involved with equine therapy that contribute to the therapeutic process, right? Like that mindfulness part, number one. Number two, being outside. It's huge. What do we ask people to do? Go on a walk. As a therapist, when was the last time you just went outside?
Yeah.
Nowadays, it's like, okay, we have virtual school. Everybody's working from home. What are we asking people to do in the office, right? When was the last time you just went on a jog or rode your bike, right? So that aspect, right?
Yeah, just step outside the front door of the house.
Exactly.
And you can actually wear your cowboy boots for once and really be excited about it.
Do they have
Can we
fur
go to our
on
first
them?
session?
Yeah.
No,
Do
not
they have
mine.
fur on them?
Not the boots with the fur.
Okay.
That's for the nightclub.
Okay.
That's when we go dancing. But yeah, so and I can see that also with kids now. Just
Who wears boots with the fur to the nightclub?
He's the one that talked about
It gets
that.
hot at the club when you're dancing.
I don't know, but everyone was looking at her.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so this is an equine session in the making.
And parents, we are real
keep it
people as
going.
well, so we like to have lots of fun when we have our date nights away from our kids. So that's very, very important too. Don't forget about date nights.
And going clubbing with your boots with the fur.
That's right. Well, your boots with the fur, so I can look at her. Yes.
No idea.
What would you do with this in an equine therapy couple session?
In an equine therapy couple session, I would ask both of you
what we're referring to? Lyrics
to
to
try
a
to
song.
pick out which horse you felt like had fur on its feet without talking to each other.
Don't they all?
Some can be furrier than others, I guess. I mean, I've seen some of the horses that are all
I think
groomed
I need a
up.
licensed farrier to help me.
Okay, so we're already processing something here, right?
All right, so tell me, give me the benefits of equine therapy for parents, for kids. I know it can be for anyone, but obviously this is the parent survival kit. So where can it be effective where sometimes maybe talk therapy can't be effective or is not being effective? Give me some examples or some idea of that.
So your question was when it wouldn't be effective?
When equine therapy may be more effective, like if when talk therapy is not effective or not being as effective as parents may want, where can equine therapy come in? How can that be?
It's an alternative form of therapy, right? The same way we learn differently. More people could learn auditorily, right? Visually. Some people need to sit down and physically do something, right? So not catching a concept from talking, but then all of a sudden you can see something in front of you and you get it.
Okay.
Right. Or you do it. Equine therapy gives you the opportunity to do all of those things. Right. So as your question, as a child, we have to figure out what their learning style is. They're just not getting it by listening to the teacher. Just not. Okay, so how are they learning? They're not learning that way. Well, they read a lot and they make A's on all their tests, right? So they're cognitively just a little bit different. So this equine therapy gives an opportunity for just a different form of looking at something,
Okay.
Absorbing something, visualizing something, feeling something, smelling something, hearing something, right? All five senses are involved with equine therapy. It's not sitting in an office. It is experiencing everything.
Okay.
Literally.
So at Next Steps, there's obviously a lot of different types of providers and whatnot that is offered. And we obviously have therapists that are specialized in talk therapy in an office setting, as an example. You bring to the table equine therapy. Can it also be beneficial to utilize both talk therapy and also equine therapy in different ways as well as a collaborative approach?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Why not? It's just two different angles, two different avenues. My personal thought is why not tackle it from two different directions?
That's definitely a holistic approach, right?
Holistic, absolutely. Every angle possible, every opportunity to help somebody grow, let's offer that.
Well, and how many kids do you guys see that really love and cannot wait to go to talk therapy in your office? I mean,
I think it really depends on the kid and the provider, right? We
But
have
how
some
many
kids
but how many
who
kids-
dread it. They don't want to be there at all, and they feel forced to be there by their parents. And then other kids who, really wanted it. They're the ones who even asked their parents to set the appointment
Sure.
up. I mean, it just depends.
it depends.
It really depends. And there are absolutely kids that do much better with, some of the creative expressive therapies that we have, like art therapy or play therapy. And then there would be some kids and adults even who would do much better with equine therapy.
Yeah, I could definitely see the equine therapy. Hey, kids, you want to go see some horses today?
Yeah, it might
Yeah,
be
absolutely.
very interesting to them. So
One kid may be like, I'm not stepping in that stuff. I don't want that crap on my shoes. No, I can definitely see that. And maybe also it's kind of funny, and this may be really way off track, but I'm going to say it anyway. So if I look like an idiot, then again, you can laugh at me. But it kind of reminded me of like how you talked about like group therapy and like even using the couples as an example. If we were to go to couples therapy in a group setting, it's like we can actually look at other people in that group effectively like, see, we're not the only ones, or we're not as bad off as they are, or we can make ourselves feel better in different ways. But comparing or observing and whatnot, in a sense, you can look at horses and like how that horse is nagging on the other horse. You see how that horse is nagging on the other horse? You see what's going on, So that's kind of, I guess.
Believe it or not, y'all are having an equine therapy session right now. We hadn't
there's
even
no
been around any
horses
horses.
here.
Well, there's a good visual. We got hay.
I know.
We do have hay.
He's laying on the ground over there.
Well, that actually, that really brings to light equine therapy and whatnot. And so I'm really excited for next steps also to see how this rolls out here in the future and maybe even doing some couples equine therapy.
Team building for sure. I just want to get around the horses. I'm so excited.
Now, are we able to ride the horses in some cases, or does it depend?
You want to jump on top of one? Go for it.
Saddle, no saddle, bareback?
You're the rider. You got to convince the horse, because trust me, if that horse doesn't want you on top of him, he ain't going to be there.
I gotcha. Dr. Schwinn, do you have any questions you want to ask, or?
I'm just really glad that we were able to do this today, because I think, our whole mission at Next Steps is to really knock down barriers for people. And so we do that, in a lot of different ways for our clients. And one way is even through this podcast, so that we can make just these topics more accessible to anyone out there. And equine therapy can be really mysterious to a lot of people, especially someone from Chicago, right? Or someone from Jersey. Like we didn't grow up around horses. We're not Texans, per se, or even from the South. Or I guess you don't have to be all of that in order to be familiar with horses. But there is some
Y'all are just a
element,
bunch of Yankees,
right? We are. There's that element, though, if you've never really been around horses before, with understanding how they can be used therapeutically. I mean, I've always known that, it's just something I've always known, is horses are very in tune emotionally. They're just that kind of animal, and there's some very deep bonds that people can develop with horses. There's people who revolve their life decisions around being around horses, right? I mean, because they are that influential in people's lives. And so I just think it's really great that we've been able to really talk about how accessible this can be to anyone who's ready to take that next step.
Sure. And this is just, again, an opportunity. Like, it's another bringing down the barrier of, okay, possibly we're at a roadblock right now with therapy. Doesn't matter the demographic. Maybe let's try just going out and hanging out with the horses for a little bit. Something clicks. That's what we're looking for, right?
Right.
That's the whole idea.
Yeah.
So whatever it takes to get there, that's what y'all have developed.
Right.
That's the philosophy behind
Yeah,
next steps. It's
absolutely.
breaking down barriers. Like, what can we do to help anybody with any situation, right? It's been my experience that offering equine therapy is very beneficial for some people, and it does break down that barrier that they just could not get through in an office setting.
Right.
Yeah, well, one of the stigmas out there, again, is, going out there, sitting in an office, and all eyes are on you.
Mm-hmm.
And in this setting, it wouldn't be all eyes on me. There's horses, there's all kinds of things that are being done. And let's face it, parents need all the help they can get these days. There's all these books and manuals out there we can read and whatnot. But, we were made to know what's going on with our own children. And this could be a good way for us to really, as a family, go out there and learn some things about each other and grow in different ways.
Sure.
It can definitely be a way to get our kids excited about doing something different as well. So,
now, one more thing I want to say out there, just for the parents and the families listening, is that equine therapy is something that insurance can cover, right? I mean, it's accessible, just like you would go through and get a regular therapist and do talk therapy in an office. It would just be like a therapy session just with the horses. And so that's something really cool to put out there, that's something worth looking into and calling insurance company about, because that may be a service that you're able to even get covered.
Yeah, so since you mentioned that, I want to add a couple of things, but one of them I want to ask first is, it's real easy to say we're going to go try something. How many sessions should someone really commit to before they determine whether or not it's something that's going to be working for them or not?
I think Dr. Schwellen can answer that question.
It
just depends.
And
putting a timeline on anything.
Well, what I'm saying is, if I want to try it though, because I can go try something and say, well, I didn't like that therapist, I'm done. I went one time and I'm out. We didn't click. But how, for equine therapy, how many sessions? Like if I were to be offered like a bundle, like here's a deal for you. How many should I commit to to really give it a fair chance?
I really don't think that's a fair question.
Okay.
To be honest with you,
that's a fair answer.
Everybody's so different.
Exactly, and you answered your question when you said, "Well, I went to this one therapist and I didn't like it, and I quit. I left."
Yeah.
Okay. So nothing's going to change between somebody who is not ready to do the work and somebody who is.
Okay.
It's a commitment, and we talk about it, right? If you're ready to do the work and give the effort, then anything's possible. But to say, hey, I need to give this 3 sessions, that's not fair for me to
sure.
put a number on anything, right? So individualization, right?
Yeah.
We meet whoever they are where they are. If they're not ready to change, that's fine.
Sure.
I'll work with somebody else, right?
Hate to be able to talk about the crap, right?
If you don't want to step in the crap, then you're not ready. And that's fine, right?
I got you.
Well, we do that all the time. If you're not ready to do the work, that's fine.
Okay.
And then we'll work with somebody else who is.
And Lee said it, if you're not ready to take your next step at Next Steps, right? That's what Next Steps is all about, your next step in your mental health.
Yeah, and I just want to, for those who are interested, I mean, again, just like all the things we do for our families and kids, the money we invest in Susie's dance and gymnastics and this and that and all these things and these books and all the things that we throw money at. If you find this as something that's beneficial, then definitely worth looking into. And again, insurance can definitely be an option to cover this as well. Especially you mentioned Nagala earlier, so definitely look into it. So, Coy, it's been a pleasure having you on the show today. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me on the show.
And we look forward to seeing all of y'all next week. If you have comments or questions regarding the show, please leave some comments below. And we definitely do like to hear from all of our listeners. And we'll see you next week. Thanks so much.